Hello and welcome back to Senior Spotlight. I'm Abby Blancato and today's guest is Elisha DeSouza. How are you, Elisha?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for being here. So obviously you haven't been with Royal Studios that long.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously your experience has been really good. But because you haven't been in Royal Studios that long, I want to kind of dive more deeply into just you as a communications student and how that experience has been for you.
Okay.
So going into my first question, what originally inspired you to pursue communications as your major?
Really, it kind of started with me doing marketing when I realized that I was doing it for the sake of pleasing other people, and that was something that I necessarily didn't want to do. With me knowing that, I felt like God was calling me to be a pastor, and is calling me to be a pastor, that I need to work on my public speaking, and so communications was definitely the route that I needed to go down to further that, for sure.
That's awesome. So I want to go into, more deep questions here, but my second question, looking back, what has been the most rewarding part of your experience in the comm department?
Okay, my most rewarding experience of being in the comm department has probably been I know people usually say the friends I met, but for me, I'd probably say the teachers I've met, probably like Dr. Pavlik, Professor Strain. They probably have helped me the most in my time here. Mm-hmm. They've sharpened me and they've pushed me. I just finished Professor Strain's Art of the Pitch final, wow. And let me tell you that that was an experience for sure. And so it definitely pushed me, and it made me a better person. It's making me a better young man, and I'll always be thankful for those two teachers that far past my time here, I'll always remember them. So shout out to you, Professor Strain, Dr. Pavlik. Thank you for all of what you guys have done for me these past 4 years.
Oh, that's great. I love that. So this is kind of building off your previous response. Was there a specific class, project, professor that had a big impact on your time here?
Yeah, probably the classes. My first class with Dr. Pavlik, I forgot what it was. I think it might have been her 215 class. I forgot what that name is.
I think it's Writing for Communication.
Yeah, Writing for Communication. Hashtag the AP style textbook. I remember she hammered that into us for the whole semester. Writing for Communication, Logic and Rhetorical Analysis, and then Art of the Pitch. Those were my 3 favorite classes that have probably affected me the most as a writer, as a communicator, and it has honestly taught me discipline. It really taught me discipline. It challenged me into being more analytical, and I love those teachers. I think they teach wonderfully. They always have been a big help, and yeah, really just a lot of what my last answer was. Those classes, those teachers, they've had the biggest impact on me.
That's awesome, and that's great to hear that you've had such an impact. So how have you grown personally, and professionally, do you think, since your freshman year?
Probably with the amount of times to where I was able to, I guess I'll say, speak or communicate. I say a lot, but specifically with Royal Studios and specifically more narrow, WUSR. I started a radio show my freshman year, and I wanted to preach, and that was an opportunity for me, and I was able to literally, still am, but now coming to a close of my senior year, but specifically each and every single week being able to communicate on the radio to I don't know how many people, but just being able to do that, it kind of built that discipline in me, and honestly just the skill, you know what I mean, at the end of the day, because not that many people, I guess I'll say, they have the knowledge, but they don't have the opportunity,
Right.
And so WUSR, Royal Studios as well, but more so WUSR, it kind of, I guess I'll say, it sharpened that skill, because I was having the knowledge, I was growing in knowledge, but what I lacked was the experience, in my freshman year, and so that kind of helped me with that.
That's awesome, and congrats on the radio show. That's great. What's one challenge you think you faced during college, and how did you manage to overcome it?
Definitely the aspect of making friends and getting friends. I'm a very personable person, outgoing person. I have a very interesting personality,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in high school, middle school, all my life, it was really easy to make friends. But when I came to college, it was really hard. Not to say that like I wasn't approachable. I was doing everything that I could do. But just my freshman year, it was really hard to make friends. And I probably had 3 friends at the time, my fiance now, and 2 friends from church, but they graduated and they were gone. And so it was kind of like, okay, so I don't have that many friends. And so in the process of trying to make friends, like, people were just being, shady and weird. And so like at one point, like I was just really discouraged at my time here because I was really like, I love the school. I love third floor to Naples. Let me tell you, them truffle fries, they do wonders, right? But like specifically the aspect of making friends, like I felt very lonely, And so what helped me overcome that was really recognizing like what I'm in this for, what I came to college for. Clearly to, in one aspect to, I guess I'll say make friends, if you will, but more so really to learn and to like build my life and to really just actually realize like what people I want to have, or what are the people that I want to have around me, And now not drawing back, but now finishing my senior year, I felt like I've made friends within this past year that have actually been like a friend to me, and it's been great. But one of the biggest things that helped me overcome that was to be secure in myself and to be intentional with reaching out to the friends I have outside of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because just because I didn't have friends on campus didn't mean I was just, a lonely person,
Yeah.
So really just like messaging my friends and just being more intentional with messaging them outside of school, and then just learning to be content with just to myself,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Are there any memorable moments or experiences from just campus life in general that stand out to you?
Yeah, definitely. There was one moment where it was me, Dan, Morgan, and I think Lily. We were in the comm lounge, and it was right before like one of our classes, and it kind of felt like a cameo where it was like I don't even know how else to say it, but like people from like different shows like coming together on one show. It was just kind of like a reunion.
Wow.
And it was just like a really fun moment because we were just talking about random stuff. I can't tell you like exactly what we were talking about, but I remember the feeling that I had in the moment that I had where I was really like, man, this was a moment where I really felt like I was bonding with friends. You know what I mean? I've known Morgan since I was in high school. Well, really middle school. We've been friends ever since we were in middle school. Dan, we kind of got close when I joined the standings, I think my junior year, and then Lily, like I kind of got to know her more in my junior year, but like, yeah, it was just an awesome moment, and I'll always remember that moment, And then there's been a few moments where I've had like some great conversations with some freshmen at the comm desk this past year, in the fall and in the spring too. That I'll always remember. That's kind of just been like a great time, and as well on top of that, me joining the Scranton Christian Fellowship that they have here. I felt like I found community there at school on campus, and it was just great because I actually found out that there were more people that I actually knew, just from outside the school that actually attended, and so it was just great to join that community and it be a foundation in my senior year, which I wish I joined sooner, but yeah.
Yeah, I love that moment, and I think that the moments in that, especially like in the comm department, are super important that you don't really realize it until like it starts to all come to a wrap up. So what skills or lessons from the comm department do you think will help you the most after graduation?
The biggest learning lesson, and I'll tie it back to Dr. Pavlik and Professor Strain. My freshman year, Dr. Pavlik, she told me something that I'll never forget. I went to her class and I was like, Dr. P, honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. I think I might fail your class. Like, I just told her, I was like, I don't know, like, I want to, like, and I was upfront with her. I was like, I want to cut corners. I want to do this. I want to do that. And she was like, Elisha, don't skip steps, right? And she simply just said, don't skip steps in life. Don't skip steps in class. And, like, that's been something that I've been implementing more in my life now more than ever, the aspect of not skipping steps. And I met with her recently about something, and she basically encouraged me with something that I felt the peace of God on it, and it was basically the aspect of like what Jesus said, not my will but thy will be done,
Yeah.
of the aspect of living for God's will and for God's plan and for God's purpose for my life, to be willing to basically make the sacrifice and to accomplish His will wholeheartedly, And then with Professor Strain, he told me something my junior year. It was for logic and rhetorical analysis. He gave people the option to go over the final for like a final, and we could ask any questions, right? And he left one class for it, and it was the last class that we had. And God is my witness, and him as my witness. No one else showed up but me, and I was sitting in the classroom, and he was like, it felt so awkward because he like even came like 2-ish minutes late, and he just pulled up, and it was just me, and I was just like, okay, so this is gonna be fun, And I just started asking him a whole bunch of questions, and one of the biggest things that he told me that I always remember is to be a lifelong learner, is to always read, is to always learn, and to always improve. Because the moment that you stop learning is the moment that you start stagnating, and the moment you really start dying, Yeah. And to not skip steps, to remember that it's the Lord's will and not my will, and then to be a lifelong learner. And I'll always remember those things, and I'll forever, and I truly mean it, I'll forever be grateful for those teachers.
And I'm sure if
and
they
doctor, sorry.
I'm sure that if they're listening right now, they'll be very appreciative of that, and I hope they are. So, have there been any internships, clubs, or campus organizations that played a big role, maybe in like shaping your career goals?
Repeat that question.
Yeah, sure. Have there been any internships, clubs, or campus organizations that played a role in shaping like the future of your maybe career or just your future in general?
I would say WUSR, joining the radio station, because I felt like that was something that I found such great purpose in. Like it gave me a reason to come into the school with the mindset, oh, I don't have to come to the University of Scranton, but I get to, And like this might sound weird, but like despite not having friends my freshman year and even like a lot of my sophomore year, I had that to hold on to, and that kind of like kept me going, that kept me running, that kept me striving for purpose, because I knew that was like God's will for me, to speak on WUSR. And so that kind of pushed me with the mindset of like, I get to do that,
Right.
And so like, I want to do that for the rest of my life, you know what I mean? I want to make content, I want to preach in person, I want to preach online, to kind of just help people, because that's my desire with my life. I want to help people spiritually, physically, financially, relationally, and emotionally, and I know I could do that through that. I've been at my church, and I've been helping with the youth ministry there, and I've been traveling with the pastors of Thrive Church, and that's honestly transformed my entire aspect of Christianity, ministry, and life. And I know like I haven't gotten the most, I guess I'll put it like this, like people here haven't liked that, of me traveling and of me leaving and me being absent for classes and things of that nature. But to be honest, like I really don't, like with the utmost respect, I don't necessarily care, because that's what I want to do with my life, you know what I mean? And so that me at that church has transformed everything about my life. And I'll say like I really mean it,
That's awesome.
If it wasn't for me being at that church, I don't think I would be where I'm at right now. And I'll forever be grateful for interning and helping out and serving at that church, Thrive Church,
awesome.
Honesdale, and it's a doozy.
That's great.
In the good way.
That's truly, and I hope you cherish that for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
So what advice would you give to your incoming communication students who are just starting out, maybe like going into the new fall semester next year?
I would say to not wait, to just step up and step out, with me not necessarily making friends my freshman year, and in my sophomore year, it kind of like gave me a bad taste for like the whole school in general. And what it did is that it caused me in certain moments, because I did with WUSR, but in other moments or other campus activities that I wanted to do, but because I was fearful of like, oh, like no one's gonna like me or whatever, like I just didn't step out and do it, even if I just did it by myself, you know. And so I would encourage incoming students to really just step out in faith, and just really, like, if you don't have friends, step out in faith and put yourself in places to where you can make friends and hope for the best and believe for the best.
Right.
But also too, at the same time, like, just do it. You know what I mean? Like, I think the biggest reason why people don't do things in life, like whether that's, you know, joining a club or making friends or stepping into a relationship, is because they fear the unknown.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been running through this with my life recently, is that like I just need to be intentional with the life that I have, with the days that I have, with the weeks that I have, with the moments that I have, and I need to be I need to be intentional, but I just need to step out.
Sure.
Step in and step out. Step into courage and step out into the unknown and like see what could happen. You know, I've always, more so now recently, I felt like I've kind of had this reoccurring thought that at the end of my life, or at the end of my 4 years, now I could happily say, like, or I guess I'll say, I want to live a life to where I look back not in regret of saying, oh, I wonder what would happen if I stepped out, but I want to live a life to where I can look back and say, oh, this might not have happened in the way that I expected it to, but I'm so glad that I stepped out, you know? Yeah. And so my encouragement would be to step out, you know, and do the things that you want to do, you know? Clearly, like, don't live like, you know, don't hurt people, of course, but I mean, like, do the things that you've always wanted to do, but because of the fear of people's opinions, you've never done before. Correct. You know? Because I think a lot of people, they think about, oh, what is so-and-so going to think, or what are people going to think, but it's like, stop caring about what people are going to think and just do what you want to do in your heart, you know? And so, yeah.
Yeah. So, I want to get a little bit more about you and your future, but do you have like any plans or goals after graduation? Because I know that you guys graduate in like, I think like a couple weeks, maybe next week, but do you have any plans? Do you know where you want to go like after graduation?
Yeah, so I plan on staying local. I plan on still, you know, helping out with my church. Like, I love my church. I feel like that's where God's calling me to be. I want to prosper where God's planted me. And so I'm going to stay helping with my church, and I'll forever, I love my church, you know, so I'll
Nice.
whatever they need me to do, I'll do. So that with my church, Thrive Church, and then the next thing is to get married. I plan on.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, I'm marrying a wonderful woman, you know, a wonderful woman of God. Her name's Kyla. I won't dox her full name, you know, but Kyla. And we'll be getting married in, I think, like 36 days, depending, you know, when this gets posted, maybe 34 or 30 days. I don't know how long, right? But we'll be getting married in on June 20th, you know, right near the, you know, colonnade. Well, not near, but at the colonnade here. So if you're trying to post up, you know, post up. But I don't know if I'll have a seat for you, you know. But I'll be getting married to her, and then on top of that, really just working, you know. My plan's to have a vision and goal to get out of, you know, school debt, you know, to get debt free, and then to be able to fully, you know, live a life of generosity. And I'm taking steps now to be in both those places, but really get debt free while working, you know, getting married, interning with my church, and then the next thing is to really just further my education, you know. I plan on taking more schooling online, of course, in due time, and clearly that's just going back to, you know, living, learning, growing.
Wow, that's all great. How do you hope to use your communication skills or any skills that you've learned here to make an impact in the future?
Can you repeat that question again?
Sure. How do you hope to use like any lessons, communication skills, or any just life lessons in general to, you know, make a positive impact on your future?
By telling the younger generation. I think the lessons I've learned at a very young age, and from the people that I'm learning them from, not that many people my age group knows these certain things. And not to say like I'm whatever, but like I just know that like I've learned a lot in these past couple of years, and I think that if younger people also take these things and learn them and apply them at a younger age,
that they won't need to go through as much hurt as I've went through or other people have went through. So one of the things that I'm definitely going to do with my time here and with the things I've learned at my church, at school here, is really just tell the younger generation, help the younger generation. Because that's kind of where my heart is for, you know, for the people in our generation and for those younger, because they're getting hit with an agenda that I think is not the best for them, you know, and I think that each and every single person has a word, each and every single person has a voice, and one thing that I want to do is be more intentional with the voice that I carry, you know, and I want to help other people to find their voice and to get their voice and to use their voice, you know, and so I think that I'll be taking the lessons that I've learned in logic and rhetorical analysis, art of the pitch, you know, the classes here, you know, and even in certain aspects of Royal Studios, how to help people, how to direct people, you know, and how to operate with a certain level. It's kind of made me realize that I want to step up in certain areas of my life, and I've been taking those steps these past couple of months, but primarily it's really, I want to take what I've learned here and help the next generation. That's my main goal.
And that's truly something beautiful. I don't think a lot of people focus on the younger generation. I think it's something that definitely should be, you know, a little bit more focused on. But I want to end up with like a little wrap-up question here. So, and I think that this is a great question to kind of wrap up with, and I would love to know your answer to this. As you prepare to graduate, what message or final thoughts would you like to leave behind for the rest of us at the department and the students who will always follow your journey?
That if you have Jesus, everything will be all right. I know that a lot of people here, even in a Jesuit university, are atheists, don't necessarily believe, are agnostic. Like they're all in between, you know. And I think that if Jesus isn't the center of your life, then nothing else will work out. And so I think that my message to the people in the comm department, the people at the University of Scranton would literally be, is that if you have Jesus, then everything in your life. And I mean, like, you really have Jesus, not just in your mind, but you have Jesus in your heart, you have Jesus in your soul, you have Jesus in every single aspect of your life, that everything's going to work out. It's one thing to say, like, oh, yeah, I know that Jesus saved me, but is Jesus Lord of your life? Is he the ruler of all? And so my message would be, is that Jesus still saves, Jesus still heals, Jesus still delivers, and Jesus still comforts no matter what you're going through. Jesus Christ himself is willing and able in this moment to help you, and all that you need to do is call upon him by faith, and he'll answer you.
And that's awesome, and I think that's a great message to leave everyone with. But that is going to wrap up our show. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I think the last thing I want to say before we end this is, Elisha, congratulations on graduating. Congratulations on everything that you've done here, and I know that you've made such a positive impact on everyone here in the department, including myself. And I really, at the end of the day, we're all going to be there to support you, and we're all going to be here throughout your journey, and we can't wait to see what you do next. And if any of you guys want to follow Elisha on his socials, I'll be sure to put them down below. And thank you all for watching.